Hi, it's good to see you again! This is not really dramatic. I think a lot of you have seen me on other social media, other channels, but I did get some comments asking if I'm dead. So, hi, no, I'm not dead, I'm here. I haven't seen you in 2 years on this channel, and I haven't been really very active in the past 4 years because of my job and my kid, my life and everything. But yeah, I haven't been really doing much on both Twitch and YouTube. Not only that, I also took a little bit of a break of doing that for work, so you might have not seen me that much on World of Darkness channel, outside of some last month fun stuff. But it was a break I really needed, and I was very happy to kind of take a breath and well, here we are. I am back and I really want to make some more content. Not making it for a long time makes you just kind of intimidated of doing it again. I've seen some people still subscribing to this channel or coming up to me and saying, hey, I watched your videos recently, I watched your Redemption playthrough, and it was both amazing but also very terrifying because I don't know if I can do that anymore. I kind of forgot how I've done all of this. So please bear with me. I really hope I will keep the general quality of the content as I used to, but I feel new to this now. So yeah, I want to come back with sort of a sum up video of what happened in the past 4 years and what I've been personally working on. Both work-wise, World of Darkness-wise, but also other stuff-wise. I've been doing a lot of things, both at work and outside of it. So this video is also made for me, really, as a way of journaling it all. There's just so much that happened, so I kind of want to go through a list of all the stuff that I've done, share you some tidbits, some behind-the-scenes stuff, and yeah, maybe find a way to reconnect with this whole thing. So yeah, without further ado, let's go on a journey for the past 4 years. 4 years ago, I moved to Sweden with my 11-month-old baby, and my dog, and my cat, and my husband, I guess, and I started work as a community developer for World of Darkness. It was a very unusual decision, I feel like, looking back at this, because for a while I've been completely independent and very happy being so. And also, if you would tell me that I would work as a community developer for any company out there, I would probably tell you no, I wouldn't. But for World of Darkness that was different, because this is the one community that I really personally care about. And I have this thing that when I really care about something, I just put my whole heart in it. I want to use another word, but heart should be good. So I was just like, I really want to do things. Please let me do things. I'm going to be very eager. Ask Jason Carl anytime what a pain in the butt I have been. But anyway, I want to touch upon the moment I've joined and one of the biggest misconceptions I had when I did. And I think you will laugh at this misconception, but it was that I'm young. I very much thought that me entering World of Darkness as a Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines player 20 years ago, by the way, happy anniversary, that I am one of the younger people in the whole community. Couldn't have been more wrong. Very quickly have I realized that I'm actually pretty old, and so many people who are entering the hobby and so many people that I was to work with, working for them and trying to open the doors for them to the hobby and make it more accessible and nicer for everyone to hang out with, were much younger than me. There were a lot of people who had no idea what Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines even is. Redemption? I don't even know her. Imagine that there are vast amounts of people who have entered the hobby through LA by Night, for example, or watching their favorite VTuber playing Blood Hunt. It's been a lot of people. It very quickly became utterly fascinating to me. There's many entry points through which people enter the hobby and then mingle with each other and what kind of a friction they meet on the way. And with that intro, I guess it will be easier to explain the general principle of my work, which is to lessen this friction, which is very difficult. It requires the knowledge of a lot more people than just what is in this head in here. And I cannot be the judge of someone who will tell you if I did a good job with it, but what I can do is give you a list of stuff that I've been working on, at least stuff that is public, and share some behind the scenes. Back in the days when I joined World of Darkness team, its social media landscape was basically a barren land. With Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, so these more classic social media platforms, having some activity in terms of informing people about stuff and some reposting of people's artworks, but it wasn't really much more than that. So I pretty much had a free reign to try to do some creative stuff. One of the first things I've done, I remember, was to establish a Discord server, because I thought that one thing we were lacking was a direct way of people submitting requests and feedback and talking to either people working for World of Darkness or many of the partners. So I opened that server a while back. It's been working for years now. It is being managed by other folks right now that are doing a really cool job, so you can still join there at discord.gg/World of Darkness, and you can find me hanging out there pretty often. For Instagram, I think I did two interesting things there. The first one was very much inspired by Humans of New York account. If you've never seen it, I really recommend it. It's basically a person that walks around New York and asks people for their stories. He takes pictures of them, and it results in these kind of short narratives that are very interesting and give you a glimpse into someone's life. So I was like, what if we did that but for World of Darkness? So basically glimpses of unlife of vampires, or how it is to be a werewolf, just like some thoughts that they share in the universe. I wrote a lot of these stories and I ran them through, back then, Justin Akili, who was working with us, and he really liked them. And I made the visuals, which was basically just looking for fitting stock photography, getting the stocks, and putting them all in this kind of similar mood. I also contracted, which is like one of the very first contracts I've done with someone, the Malaysian writer Cassandra Kaw, who is just incredible writer. They've done one of the novels for Vampire the Masquerade, Walk Among Us, which I really recommend. And I even made Jason Carl voice one of these short stories, so that was good. I think it was a really fun project. I would love to go back to it one day, because it just kind of helped me spread my wings a little bit more as a writer and as a producer of content like this. And people who read these, they really enjoy them. The issue I had for a long time was to try to get reach on Instagram and try to get those numbers up, really. Because Instagram is very weird when it comes to that. It doesn't rely on viral content as much as other platforms. From what I've been able to gather throughout the years, is it really values being very dedicated to it, which unfortunately I couldn't always do because there are other things going on. But one thing I've noticed on successful and really fun accounts that I followed is that they had a consistent color palette, consistent designs, and I really wanted to kind of borrow that idea for ours. So I came up with these layouts and did a lot of the base work on doing various templates for memes, for quote posts and similar, and I would make actual content from that. And I think this gave me one of the most important praises any social media manager can ever get, which is whoever this new intern is, give them a raise. And I think the most fun part of that was just making a lot of people laugh and just enjoy them and share them elsewhere. So yeah, I definitely want to do more of these. One of the really fun aspects of this is it also makes Vampire the Masquerade content more digestible for people who do not know much about the system. You read a meme and you kind of want to know more, so you dig deeper. And when you dig deeper, you run into books. And I love books, but books can be sometimes very big obstacles for people to onboard easily. Especially as, you know, like V5 doesn't necessarily have the easiest character creation if you just go by the book. Same with trying to grasp all the mechanics. Things are a little bit spread around in the layout of that book. So one of the major thoughts I had in my head from the very beginning was how to make it easier. And the way I did it was by making the infographics. I started with something very simple, so clans, and explaining how the clans work just on a single image. And then I went to something maybe a little bit overcomplicated, which was the character creation through an infographic. I think it was helpful for people who were more visual, like I am, and like to basically see things in tables. But it was very busy, so we also made a text-only version for the wiki. I will talk about the wiki later, by the way. So I kind of took an experience from these two first attempts and made it into something in between, slightly complex visually, but not as complex as the character creator, and made the mechanics infographics for Vampire, Werewolf, and Hunter. So it's basically single pages of summed up information that is all you need in order to start roleplay. And the reaction to that was overwhelming. It was so good. I've seen this being spread on Gen Con and on PAX, and people just using them at their tables, sending me pictures. Storytellers, which I absolutely love, like Jason, telling me that they use them at their tables. And yeah, that was the moment for me thinking like, that's one thing I love the most about this work. It's just making things simpler and easier for people to grasp, and using whatever I've created previously to have more fun, basically. It's another thing I was working on because of my background, working on Twitch and YouTube. I, of course, was also kind of tasked with, hey, can you help us grow these? So that was also one of the main reasons why I wasn't really doing much on this channel, because like tons of my work and my brain power was going into World of Darkness Twitch and YouTube. So I did over 100 episodes of World of Darkness news, which is a lot. At some point it was a weekly show where every Thursday I would just go on stream and tell people about what happened in the previous week. Very often having some super cool guests from various products that we've been working on, developers, authors, artists, and also community members joining in and talking about what they're doing. And one of the behind the scenes tidbits is also that I've done all of the assets for it. So all of the visuals, the animations, the things that you see, I've also done these. And I had to update them weekly with new things going on, which was very, very time consuming. And in the end, it led to me kind of asking my team if I can take a little break from it. We brought World of Darkness news partially back in a different form from the studio last month for a Month of Darkness. And that was also the debut of Debbie as a host. And Debbie is my awesome fellow community manager who joined us last year. And she's been on maternity leave, but she's back. And I really would love to have her more in front of a cam and just doing that stuff for you folks, because I think she's great at it. And it's also really cool to have someone to split the workload with. So Debbie's helping me a lot now. But besides World of Darkness news, I was also working on the marketing content for LA by Night and New York by Night, helping Jason from behind the scenes on these, which was great because I'm a huge fan of both. And I also had my own small debut as a storyteller. I did Hunter Garage, which is a Hunter the Reckoning series. That was kind of a wild experiment of me trying to do a full tabletop simulator based setup with PNG tubers. So basically I turned the characters into sprites that were talking on the screen. And I had an amazing team for this, and I had Alexandra Ward as a guest. It was just a blast. It was a very short chronicle. You can watch it on YouTube, but I think we did some cool stuff with it. Another thing that is a little pride of mine is the lo-fis. Lo-fi is maybe not the best term, but basically a video playlist that set up a specific mood, which we have on the World of Darkness channel. So how this idea got awakened, basically, is I do listen to lo-fis and YouTube playlists a lot. And I also happen to have access to a lot of really amazing artworks from back when CCP was doing World of Darkness MMO. I never played that game. I don't have a build, unfortunately. I would really want to. But what I do have is the art. So there's a lot of like concept art and a lot of really, really cool images, which I kind of inherited from that being in World of Darkness. So I came up with an idea of reusing them, kind of overpainting some, adding some elements, animating them softly, and making these backgrounds for potential lo-fis. And then I found out about Epidemic Sound, which is a super cool database of the music that you can use. And by digging through it, I found some tunes which sounded just like the mood that Bloodlines captured. So I played a little DJ basically, and I looked for the songs that captured this mood. And I've made a few playlists already, so 2 clan-based ones, 1 for role-playing, 1 lo-fi, 1 for werewolf actually, 1 for hunter too. And all of these have these animated backgrounds which I've done, some with the help of the concept art from the MMO. And I think they were really fun and people were really, really into them. I think another super cool praise that I've received that's just meant so much to me was when people said how much it captured the Bloodlines atmosphere. That meant a lot to me, really. So the interesting part about video content came when TikTok came into the picture. I thought that we really should be on TikTok because, you know, it's a growing platform with so many people using it, but I didn't really know much about it. I am, as we established, pretty old, so I haven't been that much active on TikTok, but I said to myself, you know, you gotta try everything. So I basically established the Vampire the Masquerade account and I started trying. First with some self-made content, then with some edits from games, and finally I landed on capturing like the best moments from LA by Night. And now Huddy came and was like super helpful for that, and now she's working as the community ambassador for World of Darkness, and she's helping with making TikToks because she did such a good job with that. If you know Huddy from her YouTube channel, Huddy von Schland, she is so knowledgeable about LA by Night. She is the walking encyclopedia for that actual play. So I could easily reach out to her and be like, hey, do you remember this moment? Which episode was that? And she would tell me immediately which one. So with her help, I was able to locate some of the most memorable parts of LA by Night, and I started posting them as little clips. And one day, after posting Jasper doing the whole
"You're ugly on the inside,"
I just woke up to millions of views on that one. And that video was copied to other channels too, where it got even more views, like 12 million, even up to 20 million on one of them. And you know, I just wrote to Alex, I'm so sorry after this happened, because I could not predict the outcome which this would cause, which was just a blowing up of a Jasper talk, and people on TikTok who had no idea about Vampire the Masquerade, no idea about this whole setting, just falling in love with this Nosferatu vampire and wanting to know everything about the setting. That kind of created a big wave of vampire fans appearing from TikTok, which was extremely unpredictable and new and exciting. And also, again, I'm very sorry, Alex. But yeah, it started something really fun, I think. And I've met a lot of new fans that came from TikTok, and I've been just super grateful to see that's coming. Currently, we're also on Threads and Blue Sky because everyone is looking for better alternatives to X. And Blue Sky is, I think, having a lot of nice movement, and there's a lot of promise in that. I am also on Blue Sky if you want to follow me there. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Another thing I've done when I was thinking about how to onboard people into vampire or hunter or other settings was quizzes. I've been doing these aplenty when I was younger, and I really liked them. So I found this platform called Typeform. I was trying it out, trying how the logic works in there, and having some experience from working on games in Twine, which is a really cool and free text-based engine for interactive novels. I can really recommend you to try it out if you want to write something interactive. I kind of brought that experience into Typeform and started programming some quizzes. So it all started with Vampire Clan quiz, which now has been solved by 500,000 people, and there's so many people accessing it every day, and I'm so happy about it. We also have Werewolf quiz, Hunter quiz, and just recently, last month, I've also done something which was the most complex project so far on this platform, which is a quiz-based vampire character sheet generator. It's around 200 character sheets, handcrafted with convictions and touchstones and everything filled out, basically outside of the name and the basic details. And you can get that sheet by just, clicking on a few options in the quiz. Pick your clan, pick a feeding type for your vampire, answer just a few questions, and voila, you have a sheet. I think it's really fun for new players or for conventions when you need to quickly onboard someone into playing the game with you and get the sheet without using 30 minutes of a session 0 on making one. You can just use the quiz. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and with all of this stuff, of course, there's been a question of, hey, we should celebrate this somehow. We should make a part of the year dedicated to all of these things and just share them in a extended celebration time with the community. And of course, I was thinking October, Halloween. My mind kind of brought me back to December, which is one of my favorite months of the year, even though I really hate winter. And all these chocolate advent calendars, when you open the window every day and there's a little chocolate waiting for you inside. I was doing that every year as a kid. Even as an adult, I was buying these chocolate calendars for myself because I have a sweet tooth and they are awesome. And I was like, okay, this makes me feel happy. What if I do something like this but for the World of Darkness and in October, and I will make people happy? So that started 3 years ago as Month of Darkness, and the whole idea was, let's grab 31 days, which is the amount of days in October, and let's give people something every single day. Which, going back to it, the idea was kind of wild, and also working on weekends isn't great. But it was my idea. But it was so fun to do, and the reaction just exceeded all the expectations. The first year was probably the most difficult because, being my idea, I had to do most of these things myself. And a lot of people from the outside, like partners who made video games and other folks, didn't really knew about it yet, so they weren't super eager to jump on board. They had, for example, things planned for November or September, and there wasn't that much stuff happening in October itself. So majority of the things in the first year were done by myself, and I was coming up with a variety of things like color palettes for the clans that people were later making fan art of, and some TTRPG content, and some, small freebies, World of Darkness assets from the MMO, which I mentioned before I used for the lo-fi. I decided that it would be really nice to share them with community so they could use them in the Dark Pack projects or Storyteller's Vault. So when they're doing something based on World of Darkness, they can actually use these to populate their books or websites or Discord servers or whatever. So there's a lot of tinkering with that, but after we've done this for the first time, the next few times were just easier and easier because so many people were just writing to me beforehand and saying, hey, we really want to join for Month of Darkness, we want to do this and that. And I was able to do things with a variety of game developers and with the TRPG books and board games, hard games, do interviews, videos, a playlist, artists with Draw Distance for Shadows of New York. Merch was also joining. This year we had a lot of people with merch wanting to promote during the Month of Darkness, which was really fun. So yeah, every year since then, it becomes this sort of a tradition, and a lot of people are jumping on board to help, so I don't have to do it alone anymore. One of the traditions of Month of Darkness is to end it on a high note. So the first year, again, we didn't have much information about Bloodlines 2 at that point. We didn't have any new game releasing, so I was like, oh no, I have to come up with the last day's beat myself. What do I do? I was like, okay, I'm gonna lean into something that I really care about, and I'm going to organize Vampire the Masquerade Game Jam. So some of you might have known I participated in the Vampire Jam made by fans back in the days, with a game called Santa Monica by Night, made in 7 days and very much based on Bloodlines. When I was making that game, I did reach out to Paradox and I asked them for their approval for me doing this, because I knew that it wasn't covered by Dark Pack, but they replied and they agreed, which I contribute to the YouTuber privilege really, and I wanted for that privilege to extend to other folks too. I didn't want to be the only person who was allowed to make an indie each game based on this super awesome setting just because they recognized me, and I really wanted for any regular folk to be able to make your own game like this and have fun with it. So first of all, we were able to make the Vampire Jam with so many awesome games joining and participating, and then playing these games for 2 months straight to pick the winners. Actually, folks, if you would be interested in me covering these games on the channel, I would love to do it, so please let me know in the comments below. But that kind of grew, and I didn't want this to be contained only to 1 month where we've done this as a contest. And I was pestering Legal, I was pestering my team, and pestering everyone to extend this. And that's how World of Darkness Unbound was born. And it was a lot of juggling, because on one hand, you do want to give community as much ability as they want to have to make their own stuff based on the system, because fan creations are awesome and they are ultimately what makes the setting alive. But also you don't want to anger folks who actually have the official license, right? And work very hard with folks from our team to deliver games to make sure that they are up to the books and up to the setting. So how do we find the middle ground? And I think we were able to find it with the Unbound, which is basically a way to release your own World of Darkness based games on itch. And there are so many awesome games that are being made for it, and I'm keeping in touch with developers doing these games and having so much fun observing this grow. And if you ever want to jump in and do something yourself and publish it on itch and have other World of Darkness fans play it, then let me know, I can help you with that. Another sort of a pet project of mine were the 5th edition wikis. So I personally love White Wolf Wiki, and I've been using it a lot throughout the years, but I've noticed something when I joined World of Darkness and when I was observing these new players joining in. And there was a lot of people on Discord and other social media platforms complaining that folks bring legacy stuff to the 5th edition games. When someone is trying to organize a 5th edition chronicle, new players jump in and they just take the knowledge from the wiki because it's so much easier than the book. We were asked the question a lot whether we want to make an official wiki, which only has 5th edition content, just to make sure that people who want to base whatever they're planning only on 5th edition can discern the information. And I was like, yeah, sure, it's a lot of work, but we can think about it. And I got some super amazing help from our wiki moderators and the admin staff who is working on all of the wikis right now for us. The wiki is currently being translated into many languages. There's a wiki for werewolf, there's a wiki for hunter, and of course vampire, which is the biggest one currently. Anyone can submit their changes, their updates, their translations. And I think it's really nice that it doesn't compete with White Wolf Wiki. I also talked to the person who is behind White Wolf Wiki once this started, and people can jump to White Wolf Wiki if they want more deeper information with the whole legacy context. But I think it's helpful for people who just want to start and who want to know what is the part of the 5th edition and what is not. Ooh, that's been a lot so far, but there's more! Some of you may know that my background is actually with art, and I've been trained as an artist, I've been working as a concept artist in the past, and I really didn't want to give it up. I've been doing a lot of personal stuff throughout these years, but I really wanted to just, contribute a little bit in that regard to the work as well. So I've been just painting some things and trying to smuggle them to the art director and be like, hey, do you maybe want that in your book? And this way some of my artworks actually ended up in 5th edition books, which I was so happy with. You can see some of my works in the companion, in the player's guide, and probably more coming on in the future books. We'll see. I've also contributed a little bit to the writing. So at first it was just filling in the gaps. So after the companion released, people were complaining that we didn't have Salubri archetypes. So I wrote them for the player's guide. I was also asked to write something about online role-playing on Discord, which is something I've done a lot, so that part in player's guide is also written by me. And of the books, I've also done some of the lore sheets, so the one that brings Daughter's Cacophony to V5, sort of, kind of, and some additional ones which we've shared on the website. I also wrote these, so that was really fun. One thing that was a horror for me during my studies as a graphic designer, but I also use these skills now, was layout work. So I help with layout and editing for Bleed and How to Deal With It supplement, which I think is really good. I would love to cover this topic one day on the channel. It's basically about how our emotions sometimes creep into the roleplay, and that it's something that should be acknowledged, and there are tools in order to make it easier for everyone, both for yourself as someone feeling the emotions, or for other players that may feel emotions and may bring them to the table. That was masterfully written by Johanna. It was such a cool supplement, and yeah, I helped layouting this, so that was fun. I also worked on the website, so everything you were ever able to see on the website for World of Darkness back then and now, most of that stuff is done by me. It's based on the modules for the other products websites, so I didn't actually have to code anything for it, but content itself that you see in there is mostly me. And one of the best parts of it was just meeting so many awesome folks working all around the world on World of Darkness stuff. So supporting really cool developers of video games that I'm really passionate about, authors of the books, artists, and of course the community members from whom I've met so many in person. And that was probably the most rewarding thing of it all. With the first big event, which was a Sabbath LARP in Texas called The Night in Question, I actually recorded the whole kind of a vlog / mini documentary from it, which I will reshare on this channel next week. So if you want to see it, you will be able to check it out on this channel soon. I've also done Saturnalia in New Orleans, which was just a dream, especially for someone who is super obsessed with Interview with the Vampire from AMC. It's the best vampire series ever. And New Orleans was just a gorgeous place, and I really want to go back there one day. And just very recently I've done Darkness Emergent Las Vegas, which was the very first LARP on which I played someone that knew what they were doing instead of a mortal or a fledgling. And I was able to roleplay with Cynthia Marie, with Alexandra Ward, with so many awesome people I've met online before, but never actually IRL. I hope I will be able to go to Los Angeles next year, so that's kind of my next thing on the radar. And so far, yeah, if you haven't watched the documentary yet that I've done on The Night in Question, I will re-premiere it next week, so wait for it. You're gonna have fun with it, hopefully. And now the big one, Bloodlines 2! I know that a lot of people are very interested in that, and I just want to, be very clear about what exactly I worked on and I work on. So for Bloodlines 2, I don't work on the core team, so I'm not a part of the development team. I work on the publisher side, so I help out sometimes. And everyone knows I'm a huge fan of the first game, so I'm a kind of a go-to person if anyone has any questions about that game. And I was also privileged and honored to work on the feedback and playtesting for both the previous version of the game and the current. So, writing a lot of notes and sending them over and playing tons of the game. But from last year on, I was actually able to work on some more things, which I was super, super happy to do. The first thing I was asked to do was the storyboard and the general concept for the re-announcement trailer. The game was supposed to be kind of announced again on the PAX West last year, and I was asked to do the storyboard, which is something I've done during my studies. I had a master's degree in animation, so it was such a cool throwback to what I used to do and what I really loved to do in college. So that was one of the reasons why I was personally asked for that. And the other was that I had a lot of experience playing the game so far. And the game changes a lot in the development phase, so there was of course a question of what is going to change, what not. But I think I was able to pick some cool stuff for the trailer. And we went to PAX West with it, and for PAX West I also helped in the concept of the booth, and then I worked on the videos that were displayed. I also worked behind the bar, which was, set up just to interact with the fans. And I was giving a lot of people the fire tattoos and talking with them about the game, so that was really fun. My work on the trailer is continued, and I helped in directing, and I worked on a Betting Man trailer, which was released just last month. So all of the stuff that you see in this trailer is gameplay, which was captured in-game, and most of it was captured by me in my playthrough. I also help with the community stuff, so when you see any in-game content that is paired with the dev diaries, there is a very high chance that I have captured it, and yeah, that will continue. I'll definitely give you some more of these tidbits. I'm working on some more things which are sacred right now, but as soon as the game is out, I will be definitely very loud about which parts are things to me. Again, it's nothing very big, I'm not very decisive or, you know, very important on this, and most importantly, I am not doing any voice acting for Bloodlines. I just want to ensure that's not something I was planning to do, but I'm just very happy to, you know, contribute with the little things here and there and tell you more about them. So I'm sure a lot of you are curious on how am I going to approach the coverage of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, whether you can expect a let's play from me or a review or anything like that. First of all, absolutely no review. I am way too biased to give you an objective opinion about the game. Being behind the scenes on the game, you grow attachment to any project really that you work on like that. Even if you are not personally involved in making decisions, it just, the attachment is always there. Same reason why I would not give you a review of The Witcher 3 or a review of just anything else that I was in any way involved in, even if that involvement was small. Now, for all the questions, can you tell me that thing that was never revealed or that was never said? No, I can't. My work respects me and I respect it back. So I do not break NDAs, I don't do stuff like that. After I started my work and I did those first videos on YouTube still here that a lot of you folks go back to and quote me on talking about how I played the game in development and how many hours I've played. There's been a lot of discussion going on about these videos, and I wouldn't lie if I wouldn't say that this was one of the big reasons why I kind of took a break. I've been on the spotlight quite so much because I've been sharing a lot, so it kind of shut back towards me at some points. And it went far into that direction in some moments, for example, by some folks trying to spread the rumor that the hairstyle on the original model of the protagonist on Bloodlines 2 is because of me, and that I forced it, which, you know, cannot be further from truth. And when you will see me playing the game, which you will probably see me playing as masculine fire, because I've been always just playing as masculine characters. I don't want my video games protagonists to look like me. And it went so far that I kind of make this joke for a while where I was wearing a wig. And I pretended I have long hair. And I think like one of the most disappointing situations I've experienced in all of these 4 years was that the wig worked. And people online suddenly were just much nicer to me because I had longer hair, which... like back in the days, it didn't used to be a problem that my hair are like they are. So with all that said, I've decided that I would rather my work to speak for me than I to speak for the work of others. I don't want to hype up things because I am naturally a very hyped person. I've been hyped and excited and enjoying working on all of this through all of this time, despite the difficult situations that were happening. And I've accepted that that's just my personality and that's who I am, but it doesn't have to be everyone, and it's totally okay if it's not everyone. And I really freaking truly wish that you will really enjoy this game when it comes out, and I will have a reason to celebrate because I will, because I care. I hope that the parts that I worked on, which I plan to be transparent about, just like I am in this video, you will like, and that's the main thing. So yeah, no reviews, I'm biased. Will you see me play? Yes, that is the plan. I don't know if I'll be doing a let's play here because I think I will just, you know, stream it for work, right? Playing video games and work hours is always great. But I think it would be really cool to have a let's play as well. I will not make any promises. I will wait for the game to be out and then we will see. But for now, let's talk about some of the other non-World of Darkness related things I've been working on. This is already a very long video, I know, I'm sorry. It's like, you know, you meet a person after a long time that you used to really like to talk to, and then you just have to like catch up to all of the stuff that happened. You get what I mean. So anyway, non-World of Darkness stuff. So one big thing that happened to me in the past 4 years was finding out my new favorite game of all time. Which is Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, it was kind of suspected that would happen. I'm a huge fan of the original ones. I was raised on Neverwinter Nights, and all of these games were kind of a big part of my identity when I was younger. So I was definitely waiting for Baldur's Gate 3 a lot. And when that game dropped, my husband did the wonderful thing of taking my daughter for vacation in Poland and leaving me alone with my PC just so I could binge play play it. I took a leave from work, I took a leave from life, I had my fridge packed with frozen pizzas, and I just played Baldur's Gate 3. It was amazing! So I started writing a lot about this game, I was playing a little photographer, I was capturing my playthroughs as I was playing, and for some reason algorithms online really liked that. I don't know what happened, but my post just blew up. And for some reason my protagonists from Baldur's Gate 3 were just started to be known by people, and some people thought that they were actually like core characters in the game. It was wild. It went to the point that some people approached me on PAX West when I was working in the Bloodlines 2 booth, and they would tell me, hey, you're the person who is shitposting about Baldur's Gate 3 online. It also led to me meeting some folks from the Larian Studios and just having the best time on PAX and just really enjoying the general connection in between the two. Like, they gave us merch, we gave them merch. They were super excited about Bloodlines, we were super excited about Baldur's Gate. In the end, I also got the collector's edition of BG3, so that was just the highlight of last year. And yeah, if you haven't played that game yet for any reason, just jump on it. It's amazing. It's such a good game, through and through. Video game wise, I learned a new engine. So some of you may know I do some indie game development on the side. That's a little passion of mine. I've done a lot of game jams. And because of the whole thing that happened with Unity a while back, I was one of the big wave of folks who did an exodus into Godot. Godot. You know what I mean. So I downloaded it in January this year, and I started learning from the scratch. And when the next Ludendare happened after just a few months, I felt strong enough to actually make a game on my own. So without any help, the first time I'm participating in the game jam solo, and I've done a game called Dark Roast Cafe, which was a very simple project, but I did the music for it and the graphics, and it somehow ended up in PC Gamer, and it was covered by them, and people really liked it, and I feel like I would love to work a little bit more on that game, because it was, again, just a small prototype made in 3 days, but it was really fun. And subsequently, I was able to convince my husband to jump into Godot, which was hard. I tried to convince him for a long time, but he was very adamant about, no, I cannot code in that language. But I was able to convince him, and we did another game together for the latest Ludendare, and that game is called Chevalier, and it's a little roguelite about the mouse and dice. And this was actually our best scoring Ludendare game so far. People really enjoyed it, and we had a lot of really good feedback, so yeah, you can play both of these games on my itch if you want to. They are very simple, again, they were just made in 1 weekend, but I had so much fun working on both. I also did a lot of art in that time. Well, my Baldur's Gate 3 passion had to have some outing somewhere, so I was doing a lot of fan art for Baldur's Gate. I also ventured a little bit into traditional painting. That's something that I dropped in college, and I wanted to go back into it. And I also picked up piano. That was my dream for forever, really. I can play guitar and bass, but I always wanted to learn piano from scratch, so I bought myself a piano. April this year, I was saving for a whole year for it, and I started learning from scratch, and I think I'm doing well. I'm actually having a first concert with the piano next month, so I'm very stressed out. Oh yeah, I also joined the band. I'm playing a bass in the band, and I will be playing piano next month. So I had the first concert last month, and it was very stressful but also really fun, and we're very underground, and now I don't have any better recordings than what you're seeing right now, but it's been really, really fun. My dog is doing good, my cat is doing good, my kid is now 5 years old and she's a gamer. We are right now finishing It Takes Two together, and she is, completely catching up to me. She's doing great with the controls and with the general response she has to the game, even though it has some difficult themes, but she's doing great. And yeah, she's just the joy of my life, and all of those things I'm doing is to make other people happy, but most importantly is this to make her happy. And so far, it seems like she's very happy here. And yeah, all of the income from this channel is basically going to museum tickets, because she really likes museums, so we go there all the time. I probably missed something. If I missed something and you remembered me doing something fun in the past 4 years, I'm sorry. I will try not to make these breaks so long anymore. But with that concluded, I would love to invite you to watch my Night in Question documentary premiering on this channel next week. And I would love for you to tell me in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see from me, because hey, maybe I'll find enough focus to actually make them. And with all that, remember, Don't get lost in the night. Wait, hey, it's me again. Sorry, it took me a long time to edit this one. It's December already. I just had my birthday and I thought that I really want to do a comeback stream on my Twitch. So if you want to see it, it's going to be on twitch.tv/outstar at 8 p.m. Central European on Saturday. So come check it out. I will be linking it down below. I'll be streaming the new mod for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines called Prelude 2. And it just released last month, so it's in early access now, and I really want to check it out, so come see it on the stream on Saturday. Okay,